Hello everybody, it is time once again for the BooktubeSFF Babbles. If you don't know what the Babbles are, they are community discussion topics for the BooktubeSFF Awards, and if you don't know what the awards are, I will link the Tumblr page and the Goodreads group down below. This week's topic is also a crossover with Top 5 Wednesday, which I don't usually follow, but I believe it is currently being run by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes. This week's topic is Top 5 Want to Read SFF, and because I haven't read these books, I'm not going to try to give summaries of them. I'm going to do first sentences like I did in a previous Babbles topic. The first book on this list is actually the one that I added longest ago on Goodreads, and I've just never gotten to it, and that is Lud-in-the-Mist by Mirrlees. This is a pretty old fantasy novel, and I truly don't know much about it except that it seems to come up a lot, especially when I'm listening to like the Coode Street podcast. Mirrlees gets mentioned. Also, I went to Michael Swanwick signing before Worldcon last year, and he talked about this book. Apparently he's written like a biography on Mirrlees, and it sounded really fascinating. So I don't really know what the book is about, but this first sentence is pretty long, and I think it tells you exactly what type of fantasy novel this is. The Free State of Dormare was a very small country, but seeing that it was bounded on the south by the sea and on the north and east by mountains, while its center consisted of a rich plain watered by 2 rivers, a considerable variety of scenery and vegetation was to be found within its border. This has got to be one of those fantasy novels that comes with a map, and the story explores the map, and you get some of that scenery and vegetation, and maybe the characters are secondary. I don't know. But there's a lot you can read into that first sentence. My second pick is also a fantasy story, and this is Summer and Orcus by T. Kingfisher. T. Kingfisher is the pen name of Ursula Vernon. She writes children's fiction mostly under her real name, and the T. Kingfisher name is where she publishes and mostly self-publishes more adult works, darker fairy tale retellings, and original fairy tales. I have loved all of the stuff I've read by Ursula Vernon, and Summer and Orcus is her most recent novel, which she actually serialized for free on her website. I could go read it now, but I'm kind of hanging out there for the print version because I've heard Sofa Wolf Press is going to do the print version, and I would like to support that. I'm not exactly sure what Summer and Orcus is about, even though I have read the first chapter when it went up. I'm pretty sure the main character is a young girl named Summer, and Baba Yaga shows up. You know, like the witch who lives in the house on chicken feet, which I don't know anything about. The first sentence of Summer and Orcus is, "Once upon a time there was a girl named Summer whose mother loved her very, very, very much." With any other person, I would think that was a cutesy first sentence, but here I think it's actually a little ominous. Next is City by Clifford D. Simak, which is a pretty old science fiction novel. This is from 1952. Wow, this must be like the oldest book on this list. I read Waystation by Clifford Simak last year for my Hugo and Nebula Award Winners project, and it was a complete surprise. I really enjoyed that book. It really held up over the test of time, and when I loved it so much, people recommended City to me, so I bought a copy of it. I think this is about like dogs inheriting the earth when humanity goes off to do its own thing, but I could be very, very wrong about that. The first sentence of the first chapter is, "Gramp Stevens sat in a lawn chair, watching the mower at work, feeling the warm, soft sunshine seep into his bones." Which is not what I thought this first sentence would be about. The fourth is Dave Hutchinson's Europe in Winter. This is the third book in the Fractured Europe sequence, and I should have read it when it came out in November because I was so hyped for this series. I have very high expectations of this. I don't want to spoil previous books, but basically I'm hoping that Rudy the spy comes back and he's teaming up with the other guy whose name I just forgot. This could really go in any direction given the pretty big differences between books 1 and 2 in the series. Like Hutchinson could just go off and do whatever, but I have some hopes, and I think it's going to be really, really good no matter what it turns out to be. The first sentence is, "They almost missed the train." The fifth and final book that I want to read is a science fiction novel called Ascension by Jacqueline Koyanagi. I've heard a lot about this book because it features a woman of color who also has a disability as the main character. Just this book comes up a lot when I see people talking about diverse science fiction. It's really appalling that I haven't tried it yet. The first sentence of Ascension is, "Heat buffeted my face, whipping my locks behind me." So there you go. Those are 5 SFF novels that I want to read. Maybe like cross fingers I will actually read them in 2017. If you have any picks that you want to read, that you want to share as well, please comment down below, and of course go over to Goodreads and check out the BooktubeSFF Awards page and the thread for this topic. Thank you so much for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with another video, and until then, bye.